call to order at 1:03. Let me see. So, okay, so that was just the four of us, Kathy, Bonnie, Janie, and me. So let's go ahead and Bonnie, you were the one who took the minutes from the last meeting, correct?
Yes. Janie and I kind of shared that document, and that was the best we had from our first live committee meeting. I think maybe the first live committee meeting I've ever attended.
Yeah, because I was, when you mentioned that, I realized, I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, that was in person, wasn't it? Now I was gonna say, I don't think, is there an issue that there aren't, that it doesn't indicate that there are any, like, who made the motion or anything like that? Is that an issue?
I don't see it as a problem. I mean, there were just a handful of us there, so
Yeah.
I don't know for sure, but
What are you
I
referring
doubt
to?
anybody's going to challenge us on it.
Yeah.
When we were looking for the meetings from the last Building and Grounds Committee meeting on July 7th, I asked Janie for the minutes, and she didn't have any, so we checked with Bonnie, and Bonnie had minutes, but she didn't have specifics like who moved to approve the minutes from the last meeting, that type of thing.
Yeah,
It's still fair-
I
it's still-
had some notes, but I didn't take notes as the recorder of the meeting. So what it says is, for example, the motion to adjourn, it just says a board member motion to adjourn, another board member seconded, and the adjournment happened at approximately 3:30.
Sure, I'm sure that's just fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. I didn't think it would be an issue, but since this was the first time that it had run across my notice, I was like, yeah, we should probably ask.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about that.
Okay, so then with the minutes, if there are no changes that need to be made, we would be looking for a motion to approve.
I so move.
I'll second.
Okay.
Motion from Janie, seconded by Kathy. Okay. So let me close out.
And I am taking minutes.
Okay.
Thank you for both of these minutes, Bonnie. I do appreciate it.
Okay, let me go ahead and find my email. There it is. Got too many tabs open on here. Okay, so real quickly, I thought be good to review the updated timeline for the Stroh room. Jason emailed me on Saturday, and so the updated timeline that we have, because as you know, we've had a delay with getting some of the pieces for the fireplace in. So this week, they had the electrician scheduled to be on site in the morning to complete some of the final terminations to the fireplace. Jason said that he was going to be on site Monday for an inspection with the village. To be perfectly honest, this last week has been kind of chaotic, so I cannot at this moment confirm or deny whether these have actually taken place this week, but I'll follow up with him just to double check.
Katie, a quick question.
Oh, sure.
The inspection with the village was scheduled for the Monday that has already passed, or the Monday coming up?
This month, or this previous Monday, the 1st.
Okay, I'll note that in the minutes. Thank you.
Yeah, it says next week. But then after that, it says week of August 8th, week of August 15th. So I'm like, all right, that should be this Monday. Let's see. Casework on the sides and top of the fireplace is scheduled to be installed on Friday. And he says that he will be on site tomorrow morning to get that started.
That's
And then
exciting.
oh, sorry.
I just said that's exciting.
Oh,
you know,
that's
'cause
exciting. I thought you
that's
said I'm
really
still
like,
writing, and I was like, oh no, I'm too fast. Yes, no, that will be good to get that going. And then at some point this week, he said the tile will be delivered. And we had something we had something delivered this week. Again, I was kind of running all over the place. So we had someone, I believe it was the tile, but they did drop off something in the room, so I can go in and double check to make sure what that is, but that should be the tile for the fireplace. So that's what is scheduled, is scheduled for this week. Next week, they plan to install the fireplace tile and remove the floor protection. And then the week of the 15th, the plan is to install the sliding glass door, put on a final coat of paint, and install the signage on the door and the signage going up to the second floor. That should be taken care of on the 15th.
When is the actual fireplace being installed? I missed that, I guess.
The fireplace, that I think has been happening in stages. They have a good chunk of it installed already, I think.
Well, they have the framing in, but they've been waiting for the fire.
There's certainly more in than there was. There's a firebox in there.
Yes.
And
Okay, good.
Yeah, that was put in recently, and I
Okay,
think
good.
the electrician that was scheduled to be in this Monday, which I'll follow up on to make sure that that was taken care of, that is involved with the fireplace installation as well. So I will, I'll double check on that, and just to make sure that that is lining up with what he sent on Saturday, and make sure there aren't any extra things that
So
got
it
delayed.
sounds like this should be done by the Monday, the 22nd.
Theoretically, yes.
Yeah.
They've ordered a replacement light for the broken one. Did you all hear about that? The
Yeah.
broken, okay. So that has been ordered, and Jason says that there's a 4-week lead time on that. So he'll keep us updated as to when that arrives and then is installed in the room. But yes, according to this, the timeline the room should hopefully be finished. The construction elements should be finished by the week of the 22nd.
Good.
Okay, great.
Yes. And then since that all of this coincides with me being gone, Martha's going to be the on-site point person for any questions related to the construction. So I put her in contact with Jason, and she'll keep me updated.
So when it's done, if the 22nd or thereafter, there will be a walkthrough with Jason, perhaps some of the trades, and us. So Martha can handle that, but I would like to be there. And anyone from the committee might want to be there as well. It's really just a pointing, yes. But
For sure.
the more of us taking a good look at it, knowing what to expect, the better.
Okay, I'll make, let me make a quick note to follow up with Jason about that, just so that we have a date, and then I'll make sure that that gets sent out to everyone. Let's see. Okay.
a quick question looking into the future. If I don't think the trigger has been pulled on the furniture yet, I'm not sure. I know Eric sent us the written quote with the finishings we selected. But let's just assume the room's finished the week of the 22nd. Do we want to put any temporary furniture in there, or keep it curtained off with the plastic?
I think
until the new furniture arrives.
I think we'll have to put some kind of temporary furniture in there, because I think that the lead time on the furniture, I have to double check the email, but I think they said like 9 to 11 weeks, maybe.
It's a long time.
Yeah, so it'd be a long time to keep it cordoned off. So I think what we'll probably do is move at least a couple of the armchairs that we discussed previously, or that we moved in there for like size comparisons and stuff
Yeah.
like that. We'll probably just put those in there as placeholders.
Yeah,
until the
there's
actual
4 chairs
furniture.
upstairs
Mhm.
that they're all the same fabric. They're
Yeah.
actually 2 different styles of chair.
Mhm.
But they've all been cleaned and ready to go.
Yeah.
So they should be put in there. And then the 2 upholstery pieces in the vestibule can go back upstairs.
Yeah, I think that was the
Yeah.
plan.
And then I don't know if we can get a table in there, but that's not essential. At least we'll have the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
furnishing in there.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we have, well, we might. I'd have to, Anna has had to move around a lot of furniture with just events, and then COVID, when we were using the spruce room as kind of like a makeshift storage area. So she's pretty familiar with where stuff is. I'll see if there's anything that we can put in there for the time being until the actual the ordered tables arrive.
Yeah, because I think as soon as we open that doors and people can go in there and sit down and enjoy something,
Yeah.
better off we all are. So
And
Yeah.
Katie, if you want any help with moving furniture around, I have a 19-year-old son, here at my house, and my husband would be happy to help as well. I
Yes.
just don't want anyone to
That's nice
injure
of you, Bonnie.
themselves.
Yeah, I think Eliza might be able to get Jake to assist as well. Maybe Martha can rope Michael in. Thankfully, those chairs are not too heavy. Spoken to someone who had to help move them around the spruce room. I think I ended up at one point having to like literally lift one of them over my head to get it over
gosh.
something. So not something I would recommend doing, but they are pretty movable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the more help we have, the less chance there is that someone pulls a muscle.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's
and one
the-
last thing, Katie.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Tell staff, if you haven't already started thinking about it, we are going to have shelves in there
Mhm.
and all that. So, begin to think about what we're going to do with those shelves and so on and so forth. So they don't sit
Yeah.
empty for, even if it's temporary, or if we're going to work on collections again. We used to put them downstairs. So just think
Yeah.
about what to do with all that.
Okay,
The
yeah,
more-
we'll do. I'll make
The
a
more
note.
traffic we can get in there looking at things, the better off we all are.
Mhm.
So.
Mhm.
Yeah. And Kathy, another thing I know you had suggested for the room is, do we consider like a rotating art exhibit on the
Oh.
wall where the sliding glass is?
Yeah.
That piece that's.
Let's take a look at the room and see what we really have space wise.
Mhm.
That that wall adjacent to the staff area
Mhm.
might be bigger than the door area. So let's just get in there and take a good look. But yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because it's an opportunity for us.
Okay, yeah, I will, yeah, I know that there were some ideas floating around. I remember the art installation possibility. So I'll put ideas out there, and then if we happen upon something that's doable, I'll make sure to let everyone know. Okay, so that is the extent of the updates for the room. Any other questions in regards to that?
Not for me.
No,
Oh.
look, it's nice to see what the final steps are gonna be and when they're gonna happen. I'm excited just to be like, ta-da, it's done.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sounds really
Lindy
fun,
came in this morning and she was asking, she's like, are they gonna finish it? I'm like, yes, they're gonna finish it, I promise. Okay, so yeah, anything else that comes up between now and then, I or Martha will be sure to let everyone know. But with that, let's go ahead and move on to the main topic of discussion, which is the furniture. So this was something I did not get a chance to sit down and discuss in detail with Eric before he left, but he did give me a little bit of supporting info about the budget and all of that stuff. So I'll lead off with the fact that the quote that we received from LFI puts us in at $15,766.83 for the furniture and the finishings that we selected.
Can I
And
jump in on that? Because I was looking at that and I think there's one more table and two more chairs than what we need.
I was wondering that too, actually.
Yeah.
And that was one of the first things that I wanted to bring up. They are listed as, yeah, we've got 2 study tables listed with a custom size of 30 by 36 inches.
Yeah, we only needed one of those.
Okay, and then, yeah, in 4 chairs, which 4 study chairs.
Yeah,
And my
we only
understanding
needed
was
2.
that we only needed 2. Okay.
Yeah, so that brings it down a little bit.
That's good.
Yeah. Let me see.
You know, I'm
really-
looking for that email. I don't have it somewhere, but did she itemize that? Can we figure out that cost or?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, let me share the screen real quick. Okay. Can everyone see that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll zoom in.
Could you? Yeah. Good. Great.
Let me adjust that. Okay, there we go. Okay, yes, so the study chairs are $612.29 each. So removing 2 of those would take off a little over $1,200 right there.
Mm.
And removing 1 table would be an additional a little over $1,300. So right now we're looking at a little over $2,500 that could theoretically be taken off of the final cost.
Mhm.
Correct.
Now, one thing that I do want to check is because that was something I didn't have a chance to investigate. I want to go back and see. I want to check Eric's emails with, I think is it Megan, who he's
Yes.
been in contact with. Okay, I wanted to go back and see and check his emails with her to see if I can figure out where, like, if he where that discrepancy might have come in. So I don't know if that was something that he informed her, if that was something that they accidentally included 2 of on LFI's end, but I want to see what that communication was. So if we go ahead and assume that we're going to be knocking off a couple of these ordered pieces here, that would bring us down to 13 something, I think.
Yeah, about
a little over
13,200.
13,000.
Yeah.
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 And as we've discussed before, we had $10,000 budgeted for the furniture. So what Eric sent to me when I was asking about, because he said that he wanted to take a look at a couple of budgeting options, a couple of options that he suggested. Let me bring up that email really quickly. Bear with me. Okay.
Katie, can you enlarge
Yes.
that a bit?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm on my email. One second. And let me put that down there. Okay. So the email that he sent, his suggestions were either to look at filling in that gap with money from our reserves, as he said that we are that we're ahead of rebuilding the reserves by about $54,000.
Is that for this year? Or-
I believe so, yes.
So the balance is 54, which is well over what we had. hoped for. Yeah, I'm trying to read this. It's pretty small. Is there any way you can make this larger?
Yeah, I'm trying and making sure it doesn't get like. Um, so yeah, these were just a couple of possibilities that he outlined as topics for discussion. But yeah, the possibly looking at filling in the gap with the reserves. And also, as he said, we're projected as of right now, we're at $8,000 above the projected revenue that we budgeted to bring in from passports and well, specifically passports and possibly a couple of other items.
So the question is, what are we going to do?
Exactly.
Okay, so we, first of all, this particular committee can make a recommendation to the board, which I think should go through finance, because it's really up to Bill and Matt to take a look and see, go over these numbers. You know, they change every month, so we have to look at them, and then the finance would make a recommendation to the board for an expenditure. So the big question is where, so we have two, yeah, okay. What I had asked Eric for, and I don't know if he had it or not. I should go over through some emails, but you know, we have 50,000 from Cal, but we don't have the final number from Jason. All these additional things are part of the ongoing accrual of costs. So we don't have the bottom line. So we're going to be paying something more than 50. Well, I should say this. We're going to be paying something more than 65, which is 50 that we have from Cal and 15 from the Friends. Yeah. So it's that number that matters. What is the difference between the 65 and the final tally? So that's concern number one. That we're committed to by contract. So obviously we pay that out of budget or passport money or reserved or whatever. So that's the first cost that we must approach. And it sounds like we're getting pretty close with Jason to getting that final number. So that's number one. Then number two is the furniture, which we're looking at about $13,000, $13,266 I have. And where does that come from? So all the sources that you say, however, we don't know what the number is that we have to pay. So the Stroh family has informed us that the Library Foundation is a beneficiary of the trust, but we have no idea what gift is being allowed by the trust, and we won't until the late 22 or early 23. Do you all know this, or I'm not sure?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I did. I was not aware of it, but that's lovely.
Yes. But again, we don't know. We don't know. Have any idea what that donation is. So that's, if you've ever been through this with family, it takes forever to get all that stuff squared away. So some point in time we will hear, and we will be thrilled that Cal continued to remember the library. So that money would help pay back whatever expenses we have. So the question is, we don't really know what we're dealing with. I'm off the top of my head, I'm thinking of a couple of plans. One is that we really can't do anything until finance kicks in, but we ask finance what their thoughts are. And we see if finance makes a recommendation to make an exception to all this spending and just get it all, or manage the cost of the building up front. And then possibly, if we've moved this furniture in there and if it looks decent, possibly buying a table and 2 chairs. And having, because it seems like it's a very long order time, at least getting that ordered. And then within a certain time period, seeing if this additional dollars are coming out of our funds, or if by then we've heard from the Stroh family and we know what we're dealing with. So there's a,
Mhm.
I think it's all very attainable. I just don't, we're not in a position to just jump on it right now.
Of course.
Well,
And
Kathy, isn't that what the reserves are for?
Well,
For
that's
things
a
like
debate.
this?
That's a debate we can
That's-
have, and that's where
yeah.
we would go to finance. I had, Bill and Matt are very, very good at this. So that's the question to ask. I'm just explaining where we are without any.
Right, I
exception-
get that.
Without any exceptions.
Yeah.
And we don't, and it would be a full vote of the board to take funds out of.
reserve.
Mhm.
Although, I don't have last month's numbers because the board policy is that the reserves cannot be less than 25% or more than, it's either 50 or 75% of the annual budget. I think that's the way it's phrased. So I don't think I think we're well above that low threshold. So that's a consideration. That's the first thing we have to look at.
Mhm.
And I don't have those numbers in front of us.
Hey, Kathy and Janie, I thought, and Katie, you might have been on a call. I thought we were on a call with Cal a few months ago where she said, look, I don't want you guys to skimp on the furniture. And I
Mhm.
thought she,
Yeah, Bonnie, you're exactly right.
okay.
However, then she died.
Yeah.
And so
I-
Eric notified Greg Stroh of that conversation. And Greg's response was that the family can do nothing because once she passes,
Everything went in
a
a
trust is, it all goes into a trust situation. And that the library is a beneficiary of the trust. He said nothing further about the family making any other adjustments.
Okay.
And we have no, we have absolutely no recourse as far as that goes.
Right. And, certainly, again, with Cal remembering and including the library and the trust is.
Yeah.
Well above and beyond. I was like, am I remembering
No,
correctly?
we
Yeah,
all
you
are,
are.
absolutely. And she was,
Mhm.
and she was adamant, and she may well have been shared that with her family, and they would be aware of that, and, but, and if there, once her husband, there would have been a trust set up once he passed away. She was the trustee, and then she's gone, and then the trust shuts down and has to be distributed, I guess is the word.
Mhm.
So, so there is an unknown, which I am very respectful of. So we just have
Sure.
to wait and see. But yeah, to your point, Janie, yes, that is what the reserves are for. But we as a B&G, it'd be very nice to say, well, what the heck, we'll take it out of reserves and do it. But we don't have that.
Already.
Well,
and
yeah, we have to go through the rest of the board and,
Yeah.
finance first. And I do
Yeah.
understand that.
I mean, I suppose well, first of all, we ought to discuss what we think would be best. What's the best
Mhm.
plan? So and then we, I guess we shared that best plan with finance, asking them to weigh in and then present it to the board and have a discussion. I also, I'm sure you haven't figured out by now, I'm like the most conservative person when it comes to this that you'll ever find. So I'm going to continue to take that position. Deferring this conversation till September, when we have that final room bill, would make me a lot more comfortable.
Okay,
Just because.
that's very valid. I think that's very valid.
There's a contingency, and if we haven't spent the contingency, we've spent less than we anticipated. It's kind of complicated at the end until everybody walks through and inspections happen, and
Right.
especially with all these backlogs on parts and so forth. So hopefully we're going to have that bill in hand. We're not going to have it by this August meeting, and we can just tell Jason we really want to get this resolved, and because of the furnishings issue. So get that bill as soon as we possibly can. But we need to know what we're spending first before we make more decisions. But
Mhm.
we can advise finance and then the board what we think is the best plan. And I think we should kind of discuss that now.
So our option, well, really, we don't have a lot of options, do we? I mean, our options are to wait until we have the final bill from Ingberg Anderson in hand. Or from whomever, and like you said, we are obligated to pay that and then move forward from there. So we can't really do anything until September. Do we now, when we budgeted the 10,000, where was that money sitting?
We
Is that
didn't-
part of the
we don't have-
50,000?
That's the money we don't have. We
That's the money we
budgeted
don't
that.
have. Okay,
We budgeted that based on good faith that Cal would be satisfied with the transaction and we,
gotcha.
she'd hand us a check. So that's the budget problem.
I see. Okay.
So
So-
the other thing to note, because in the minutes from our last meeting, Eric stated, I jotted it down, it's in the minutes. He said that our spending on the reading room thus far was $63,000.
Yeah, that's the number I haven't.
Yeah, okay. So, the 50, the 15, et cetera, total of 70, so we're like right up against it, right?
Yeah,
I
And I would think, having read through the options, I think we should upgrade the Wi-Fi if the Wi-Fi is an issue, because I think our patrons, if they don't have good Wi-Fi or they're coming to the library to get something done, like strong Wi-Fi is important. I would think maybe if we're running ahead on Passport, et cetera, we get the table and chairs through expected increased revenues or, revenues above budget for the fiscal year. And maybe we ask for 10 grand out of reserves to cover the other furnishings.
Okay, let me just, I think the 63,000 number is the 50 from Cal plus 13 for building. That's what I think. Plus 15 for fireplace. So I think the library is going to be spending $15,000 on the room, I think. Which again were upgrades recommended by Cal. So so we're looking at $28,000 of expenses here that are not budgeted anywhere, and that's actually a chunk out of reserves. But we have to see what this number is. And Katie, I don't know what the process is for collecting from the Friends. I presume you just notify them when we're invoiced for the fireplace and pass it over.
I believe so. I'll double check with I'll double check with Laurence or Jill or Anna or someone like
yeah.
that they've requested stuff more recently than I have.
Do the Friends make that payment, or does the library?
I believe that the Friends do, and it's treated as a restricted donation.
Okay, so the transaction, the check isn't cut by the library, it's cut by the Friends.
I have to double check on.
Okay, because we just have to make sure that we're aware of that process so that we do it in
Sure.
a timely fashion and get that taken care of. And then
Yeah, I've got a note somewhere in my email to get a number to the Friends for that. So
Yeah.
that's on my radar.
Yeah, but see, I'm pretty certain that the 63 includes upgrades that we've just discussed, the finish on the casework and so on and so forth, which Cal had approved. So, it's just, I think it's, frankly, between our budget, our current budget, and certainly next year's budget, this is all going to be covered very easily. It's just a matter of seeing what our responsibility is in the short term. So maybe I'm just repeating myself, but I guess what we need to know is that we have $50,000 on hand. We have either 13, well, I don't think the 13 includes the fireplace at all. I'm pretty certain it's an additional 13. So that's the magic number. We move the furniture down in place. We probably, I don't really see why we couldn't spend $2,500 on three pieces of furniture. I think that's very reasonable to request. The question is, do we just hold back on the other 13 until, 5 months from now, maybe we have that sitting around from passports. We just kind of see where we are. But let's let finance make that decision.
And I know that I know we've been trying to get a finance meeting set
Yeah.
up for director related discussion. So I'll make sure to get another doodle poll out before I leave on vacation so we can continue that scheduling process. And
Yeah. So Bill just, you may have seen it. He's in Europe
Yeah.
until the 15th.
Mhm.
And Janie, thank you. And Bonnie as well, actually. I'm getting off topic here, but this book issue, we're putting together this ad hoc. Bonnie, are you available in the next week or so to meet and discuss this issue?
I am largely available.
Yeah, and Janie,
Yeah.
you are as well. And
Yes.
I think that John has been really helpful in making some suggestions to Katie and me, so that will be good. I was trying to come up with a committee, and Bill graciously let me know that he's away, so that's not going to interfere with his European trip. So, okay, so let's do this. Well, I mean, it's whatever you guys want to do, we can do, but we should probably have a motion to refer our thoughts to, I guess, to the board or to finance. I'm thinking as I'm speaking, which is why I'm kind of stumbling. And I think we should include in our motion Janie's observation that the reserves are available for transition or for discretionary use. So that's a consideration up front. And then giving that suggestion to finance and just seeing what they come up with. And then the full board will talk about it in a few weeks. Although we won't know the number, but we can get talking.
Okay. So in that case, do we need a specific dollar amount for this motion, or just to defer the discussion?
Well, I think we should make a motion we should motion to discuss this. How are we going to frame this? We want a motion to consider additional funds not covered by previous $50,000 donation and $15,000 donation from the Friends. That's the issue. How are we going to pay for that? So we would like a motion to consider payment. Anybody want to jump in on wording on this? Go right ahead.
I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I think.
Is the request to have the finance committee try to identify up to a certain amount of dollars from both the operational budget and reserves? So is the motion to the finance committee, or is it to the full board?
Well, that would be a very good motion to the finance committee, and then they would follow up with a motion to the boards. That would work very well.
Okay, all right. Does that help, Janie, in terms of any other words?
So you're suggesting that you motion that the finance committee can consider payment up to, did you give a dollar amount? Oh, they recommend a dollar amount.
Yeah, we could request that the finance committee identify a source of funding for any potential overages of the Stroh Reading Room up to 15,000, up to 20,000, just to cover all tracks.
Let's just leave it. Let's just see what they come up with. I mean,
okay.
Because I will be at that meeting, and Katie will. So or no, Katie will maybe away, but I'll be at that meeting.
Yeah, and it would probably be better for them to suggest an amount, and maybe I just am wondering how soon we can get an estimate of what the final cost is going to be from the construction company.
I was gonna say, I can reach out to see if that's something that, that we can get so that we can figure out the last stages of the planning.
Yeah, and let me go over. Eric sent me so much stuff last week. I just feel like it's there somewhere. I will let you know if I have something like that. I know he sent something about some recent thing from Jason, but we'll work on that, Jenny. That's because that's the key. Then we're just putting 50 plus X plus 15 together, and that's the cost of the room.
Well, don't forget the 5 for the lettering. I mean,
that's in our.
so I guess what I'm thinking is that we've had a total of $70,000 in donations to this point, and our expenses are estimated to be X amount, whatever they are. And the biggest chunk of that is going to be what Jason comes up with. And if there's, if wonders never cease, that sometimes that something comes in under, that probably won't happen, but if it should, then we're in a different position.
Right.
I don't think.
And that's why, see, I don't really understand the contingency issue. The contingency is written into all the estimates in the contract.
Exactly.
But if we don't spend the contingency, I don't know if we're over or under the number.
Right.
Yeah,
So
that's my point here.
Yeah.
So
okay, you know what? I will go back over everything. I'm sorry, you guys.
well, that's okay, Kathy. You've had a lot. We've all had a lot to deal with, but you more than most.
So for purposes of the minutes for this meeting, there's a motion to notify the finance committee that total expenses on the project are likely to exceed total donations.
Yeah.
And we're requesting that they identify potential source of funds.
And make a recommendation.
Make a recommendation.
Yeah, make a recommendation on covering those additional expenses.
That sounds good to me. I so move.
I'll second.
Make a recommendation on source of funds, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. First by Jerch, second by Meierhoff. Okay.
Okay.
Anything further regarding the furniture? And again, I will go back through Eric's contacts with Megan and double check the quote, and most likely request an updated quote from her to remove the extra furniture. And once I get that, I will pass that along.
Great. Good call on. Good catch on that, Janie.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, a couple of things. I went to the
Well,
bank.
I think what Katie was just asking is, should we go ahead and order the study table and the 2 chairs? Because the lead time for that.
I was just saying it in terms of getting an updated amount, but if that's something that we want to do, I can to get the chair and the chairs and the study table.
Katie has the authority up to $5,000 to make that decision. And I know, Katie, I'm not trying to dump this on you.
No.
No,
No,
generally, Kate, the director can make a $5,000 up to $5,000 for any contract. So, because those funds are somewhere, and I'm sure if we look in the budget, they're just sitting there.
Yeah.
I'm not uncomfortable with doing that, because in the long run, that allows us to be cautious with the bulk of the furnishings and still have a fully furnished storeroom.
Exactly right.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I had originally said, if it sounds like what we really need from reserves might be closer to $10,000 than the full. Yeah, I think it would be nice to have the room fully stocked with furniture, even if some of it's temporary.
Yeah, and Janie actually just, Janie and I went over some numbers from the foundation, and I apologize, these budgets back and forth, this is just not my forte at all, but there are funds sitting in the foundation, which actually, that's what they're there for. It's, we don't have a lot of donations coming in. I'm very cautious about spending money, but I think it's probably sitting there as well. So let me get all this straightened out before this finance committee meets, and I'll keep
You
you
know,
guys informed as well.
The other thing is to clarify with the Friends, because I guess I pictured them just cutting us a check for 15 grand. And
Yes, I
then,
don't know how that's done. I don't know how that's done.
so, I don't know who knows,
Well,
their
Martha and
treasurer.
Anna know that because they do it all the time.
Oh, okay.
For
Yeah.
all-
Then they're the ones, who can maybe fill us in on. Because it would certainly make things a lot easier if they just cut us a check, because I doubt the cost of that fireplace is exactly
15,000.
$15K to the penny. You know.
Yeah, and is it, I think their contribution is up to 15 though, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I imagine they have to see the invoice on that.
Yeah.
Because the donation is specifically the fireplace versus
Mhm.
$15,000. So,
Okay.
Does it make sense for us to get from Megan a corrected
yes,
work
Yeah.
order or whatever that has, and maybe even split the study table and chairs from the others so they can be
Sure.
actioned separately?
I can reach out to her and request that.
yeah. And would you also ask her if she anticipates a price change within the next 6 months?
Okay.
Because I think the order, the estimate that she sent said that the prices are good for 60 days or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly what it said, but
Yeah, 30 days.
30 days.
So ask her what the estimated increase or fluctuation in price would be, because that's
Mhm.
something we can factor in if it's negligible, but if it's could be significant, we may want to take action on it sooner. So,
Okay.
but I have to go back over and look at all this finance stuff. Janie, are you up in Door County right now?
Yeah, I am.
You're very lucky.
It's gorgeous up here.
That's good. That's good. So let me get back over the, I gotta call this Mr. Terrell in 5 minutes. Well, let me talk to him and then I will pull out my foundation file and try and look over that.
Knowing
money-
that
it's like-
knowing that we only have 5 minutes, I do have a new topic as soon as we're done with
Yeah, go ahead.
crossing T's and dotting I's on the showroom. Okay. So the Lake County Board hosted a public meeting in regard to ARPA funds. The American Recovery Something Act, and the county has $136 million to allocate. And I'm wondering if it's possible that the library may be able to be a beneficiary of some of this money.
I believe Jillian attended a meeting on that about 10 days ago.
Okay.
And I believe some of the funds you're referring to, the library recouped under the CARE Act.
There was that one, yeah.
Yeah.
There was the CARES Act and now the ARPA one. So the focus has been on infrastructure, one of three: public health, infrastructure, and negative economic impacts at the household level and small businesses, but also in some ways municipalities. So what I was thinking was the Wi-Fi, is our Wi-Fi upgrade potentially an item that would be funded through Lake County ARPA funds, and also the generator.
Yeah.
Oh, good one, Bonnie.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
And anything
Katie is-
else, and there may be other things that I'm just not thinking of, so, but maybe, if we invite Jillian to our next committee meeting, or if you
Yeah.
guys are comfortable with me just chatting with Jillian and saying,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
what did you think?
A third is actually if there were any electrical upgrades in this current construction, because Katie, is Jillian still on vacation?
Yeah, she should be back. I don't know if she'll be back on Monday, but she should be back on Tuesday of next week.
Okay, so Eric and I met with Jillian briefly, and she had attended, the meeting was held at the Green Belt location.
Yeah.
And then there was a bit of an issue at the meeting because parking into public access was quite limited. So people was, and the big focus of these funds are underdeveloped economic areas. And so there was a suggestion that the meeting was being held to exclude people from underdeveloped economic
Oh, boy.
areas. So that didn't go over too well. So I don't know that the meeting got too far. Jillian did come back with a card from a Lake County, perhaps commissioner, who was a contact person, and she gave that to Eric. She also asked that gentleman if he could make inquiries about the, oh gosh, the way overdue $100,000 that the state granted us. He was surprised that hadn't gone further. So Jillian had some conversations, and then she filled them with Eric. So Jillian's kind of our point person on this at this point.
Okay.
She also said emphatically, this really is all focused at economically depressed areas. However, if we can make a good cause for the benefit of Wi-Fi, for the benefit of generators and so on and so forth, that's our job to do so. So let's follow up with, or Monty, if you want to take that on, just track Jillian down next week and
Yeah,
find out what's
yeah,
going on.
I will. Thank you. I'm glad she's on it.
Yeah, she stepped up to the meeting, and so it might be what you're seeing is a follow-up to that meeting, which kind of flopped because of its location.
Mhm.
So it may be that somebody wants to go out and listen to more of that. So we'll find out about that.
Yeah.
Thank
All right. Great.
you. Okie dokie. Well, Katie, have a wonderful vacation.
Thank you.
You-
I'm
Yeah.
very much looking forward to it.
I bet you are.
If you didn't earn it by last week, you've earned it this week. So
I think both. I'll take it for both weeks. The last 2 weeks have been chaotic. I'm taking 2 weeks off. There we go.
yeah.
Mhm.
I did go to the bank this morning and I signed the new
Okay.
signature card for the bank.
Oh,
Um,
Kathy, I was going to ask you about that. Is that in the Lake Forest branch, or can we do it
Yes.
in Lake Bluff?
Yeah, if you
I'd
just go
go
to
to
Lake
Lake-
Bluff.
go into the Lake Bluff Bank, that main desk, Sita's
Okay.
there, another gal, and they have the file right on the desk.
Great.
And I
Okay.
Yeah,
asked
it was
because
like 5 minutes.
all of us except Katie had signed the card because the officers haven't changed, but nonetheless, they do need a whole new signature card. And then Janie, there's also a card for the foundation, which, oh no, wait, the foundation only was requiring Katie and me to sign. So we're done for the
Yeah.
foundation.
Okay,
So you're just signing for the library.
okay.
So, and I told her that Bill was away till after the 15th, so it's just gonna sit there until he gets back anyway. So whenever you guys.
All right, no
Yeah,
problem.
they didn't give me a deadline or anything
Right,
like that.
right.
So
Okay.
Katie, are there checks that need to be signed, you know?
you know what? I would say probably not, because Laurence has been on vacation this last week. Everyone's
Yeah,
safe
it's
from
August.
vacation till August, yeah.
Yeah.
But I believe she should be back next week. So
Okay, well, feel free to have anybody call me or email me, or just send an email to the officers. We know Bill's out of town. So,
Okay.
just, we will get into,
Yeah.
I will be here all next week, so.
okay.
I'm also around. Janie, you're up north, so.
Yeah, but we're
happy to
coming back
talk.
this week. We're coming back this weekend, so I'll be around next week too.
And Katie, someone is there to manage this doodle situation going back and forth?
Yeah, which doodle situation?
Well,
The,
sounds like there's a bunch of them.
yeah, well, I was
There's
gonna say
be finance.
Yeah, finance, I'm going to be, because I will, right now, my plan is to, I'm gonna have to stay in at least a little bit of contact on vacation. So I'll probably be checking work email like once a day, so I won't be totally out of touch. I was going to handle the finance doodle poll scheduling thing. And then for the ad hoc committee regarding the book, that, because I know for a fact I won't be able to be there for that, I'm gonna pass that off to either Martha or Eliza.
Okay, great.
So they will be sending out a poll about that, as soon as they're able.
And I will let Bill know that you don't need to include Bill. I'll let Bill know that
Right.
Janie will be another person. And just to be clear on everything, our next board meeting is the 16th.
Yes.
Bill is back the 15th. So I don't think it's likely that we'll have finance meet before the board meeting.
No,
Yeah.
my intention was gonna be to start offering options starting the week that I was back.
Okay, and
So the
that's
week of the
22nd.
22nd.
Okay.
Yes, 22nd.
Okay, and then just for your information, I'm going to be gone the week of the 12th of September.
Yes, you mentioned that.
And Janie, I know you're away in September.
Yes, probably about the same time you are.
Okay, so if we would want finance to have met and come to some conclusions, and we meet if necessary, by the 9th of September, just to kind of keep that little
Yeah,
window
that
open.
should be doable.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you all for.
All right, I'm going to
Moving
move to
through this.
adjourn. Who would like to second?
I will
I'll second.
second.
All right.
Janie is the second.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
the
All
clock
right.
just switched over to 2:00, so great
All
timing.
right.
Perfect time.
Sounds great, guys.
All righty. Take
Bye,
care.
everyone.
Take care.
Thanks, Katie.
Thanks.